Welcome back to the GLAC Studios oil painting tutorial. We are working on Ardhanareeshwarar painting. This is class 7. We have finished layer 1 and also quite a bit of planning in our previous classes. Let's just quickly go over as a recap what we all did. Um, so we started out learning a little more about the canvas, how to select canvas, and so on, preparing the canvas, including the tethering aspect of the canvas, increasing the tension. And then we also did the first layer. We decided on the reference pictures. How are we going to combine different aspects of the reference and use them? And based on that, we have done some grading technique that we took further into the canvas. This is an 80 by 60 canvas that we are working on. So we did that, and using these references, we have managed to uh, plan our overall superstructure. That's what we did in our exercises so far, classes so far. Classes 7, possibly 8 and 9, we never know. It could take a little longer. This is going to focus on layer 2. Layer 2 is going to be filling or blocking. In various sections of this painting, we are going to just block colors and place colors. Before we get started, I want to just tell you one thing. Mm, there are many ways to do this, many ways to approach this process. Um, and it's also the time where most of the professional artists would also have already chalked out um, spaces where there are darkness and light and depth and so on. So even that is planned at this stage by professionals. But for the, I have also done that. But for the benefit of those who are um, learning step by step, and also those who are slightly apprehensive about getting into a large canvas, nervous about that, I am going to make it so simple and break it down into pieces. So this part or this these classes that you will see, the upcoming classes including this one, are going to focus only on blocking and filling without the logic of shade or any layer. Means by the end of the exercise, when we are done filling in the whole of the canvas, we will have a flat image. So be aware of that. We will have a flat image. um, is there any advantage, disadvantage? I would say yes and no. Depends on how you want to see it. We are only slowing down the process for the benefit of those who want to understand many aspects. Yeah. And it is a good thing to slow down if you are learning for the first time or doing all these things for the first time, especially if you are not used to having multiple references going back and forth. It's better that we stick to one color, do the monotone, finish that area, move on, and at least get the color blocks right. Yeah. Then it helps us to focus on having the canvas filled out right, having all the key components established right. So that will be the advantage of this slowing down. And for those who are saying, but I can do a little more, or maybe I have a little more experience, maybe you want to just take a look at it and fast forward and move on to the classes where you see more depth and layers. So that's also a good idea to do. But do go through these sessions as well. I'm going to talk a little more about mm, the experiences all along, yeah, that I've had, and a little more about Shiva and Parvati, Shiva and Shakti. So, right before we are getting started, make sure that you have the three references ready with you. The first reference that we used is the one that you would have already taken from my my link, and this will have my handwritten notes plus all the grid lines. This is the first primary reference. We also need the other references to go back and forth. Make sure you have them ready with you, either in a printed format or um, ready in your laptops or any other devices that you're using. Okay, so now this is the filling or blocking, which means there's going to be a lot of colors, isn't it? Okay, so I have we start with white. I need titanium white. I use most of it most of the time. So I have titanium white with me, and then I'm going to use. Let me just give a range of the colors that I would possibly use. Yeah. So I have our regular burnt umber, um, yellow ochre, and vermilion light. These are from the very good old brand that I still have. I want to use it as much as possible. It's called Classico from an Italian brand. Mm. So this is vermilion light. I have Mars red. Yeah. And let me see some more colors that I will use. I do have a beautiful primary blue, an ultramarine blue. It's an ultramarine deep blue. Yeah. For an yellow, I have a permanent yellow lemon. Yes. And then I have a earth green with me. I do have an extra yellow ochre light. I don't think we really need to worry about that. If you have yellow ochre, you have yellow ochre light as well, just to mix a little more of, yeah, white. So that's the color. The oil that I am using is already poured in to the can. It is the cold press raw lin oil that I use. Um, the palette that I have is this use and throw palette that I will use. I do have some brushes with me. These are all soft synthetic brushes, but store bought brushes. I am, let me see the sizes that I have with me. Um, I do have a large round brush, number 12, and these are all, some of them are flat brushes, some of them are round brushes that I have here. And I think I have a couple of angular, maybe an angular brush as well. So let's look at all these numbers. Okay, there's only one angular brush that I have right here. That is brush number 18, angular. Flat brushes 4 and 5. Round brushes, I'm just checking. It's 14 from the little small series of 14, 10, And from the large series, it's 1 and 3. Yeah, I think I have enough brushes. Maybe I will not need all of them, some of them, but I will keep on uh, updating you the moment I'm switching a brush or so. Aside from that, I do pick up sometimes because for the filling the need is quite less, but the zero brush also will be there somewhere around the time when we need it, but most of it, no, we wouldn't need much of it. Yeah, only a little bit of use of zero brush as well. So I think that's about the materials. Yeah, aside from that, of course, I will have a little bit of what your cleaning items like a tissue paper or maybe this earbud and so on, just to keep myself ready in case I make a mistake, which I always do. So I'm going to now make this camera a primary one so you see more of Ardhanareeshwarar. Beautiful. Before we get started, what do? We always do a check on is there anything that we want to change? Yes or no? And is there any error? Hmm. I'm cross checking with my reference pictures. For now, it all seems okay. Not too much of a change, but I think we'll have to work. It's good that we identified some mistakes in the previous sessions and then we have corrected them also. So I don't see much of requirement, and I think I am ready to get started. So before we get started, I'm going to look at the color ranges that I will use. There's one thing that we did not decide in the previous sessions, which is the background. I think I will go with the background of having the those mountains. I see the point in having those mountains because that's very much the abode of uh, Shiva. That's where he comes from. So I will have mountains and the sky. Something ever so light. So that's the plan. But I haven't decided on what will be on the because there's also a lot of greenery mm, and water coming down on the ground in some places, rocks in some places, in some of these references. I don't want too much going on because I think for the size of the canvas that we have chosen, we already have a lot of components in our picture. If we have to just go up and down, just to remind ourselves, we do have a lot, isn't it? So I don't want it to have too many elements at this point. Um, but I'm going to just think of having that background as well in the mindset before I'm getting started. So right now for the we start with the body color, and we don't have a single body color. You would have already noticed that Shiva, Shakti are represented with a different body color. Shiva is this bluey, gray blue color, and you see Shakti almost in the um a normal skin color. Yes, so we are going to work on that. Exciting. Hmm? So let's get started with I'm going to today experiment with a little bit on this marsh red. It's also a beautiful color. It's also called, I think you if you do not get this, you will get something called a terracotta color. I like this and I want to test working with this color. So I'm having this here, taken a little bit, and I'm going to blend in white along with this and see how the color turns into. If you are considering working on another color range, I can also tell you what is other possibilities that you could have. Um, the other options could be using a bit of vermilion and yellow ochre and adding white to it to see, darker or lighter tonalities. That also gives a very nice skin tonality. Even in this case, we might add another color. Let's see how things come up, pan into. Mhm. So I'm going to take just this and white and see what happens with it. And then maybe I will add another color to it, another tonality to it all together. Taking a bit more of white than needed, but I guess I will need it for other aspects of it. Right. Cool. So I don't want a large brush. I just would like to have a brush that is small enough. This brush number one is good enough for me. So let's see what happens when we mix these two. So I'm taking as much white as I would need, loading it like this, and then blending it into it turns into a lovely brown color. Lighter pinky brown color. That's a good base, at least for me to get started. I think this is okay. For the sake of doing, if I add a little more of that color, I think for the sake of doing the first layer or the second layer here, um, this color is more than enough for me. Yeah. And if you are in case, not having this color and thinking of the options, then the options are simply vermilion and yellow ochre. Yeah. And do not take too much of it. Try a little bit of it. Mix them both. You will get almost close to a skin color, but that could be slightly dark. If you add white to that, it will, lighten up, and you can choose the kind of tonality that you would like to have. Yeah. So that's also another option. Even adding ultramarine blue, cobalt blue will give another tonality very ever so lightly. If you add it to that, it'll give another tonality. It'll be very interesting to see. Yeah, not too much, but then slightly. Yeah, that's also one option to consider. I have the color ready. I'm going to get started with the face as such. So remembering that it's the right half of the face which will have this color tonality. I'm leaving out that space for I. I'm not going to work on it now. We will work on it when we come back to it. Doing that filling of that space, not touching the lip, but just coming close to the jawline. So that half of it is, and including the ear. Then we come down to the neck. Beautiful. Way the color is flowing. And it is also somewhat hiding the grid lines, isn't it? And that's exactly what we want. It should ultimately hide the grid lines. Um, Maybe if not hidden in layer 2, we can always try to hide a little more in layer 3. And this time when I'm working on the finger, Last time we just put in strokes. So this has to be slightly thicker than the stroke itself. It's not a stroke, it's a finger. So we want to show that finger. So I'm just doing a little bit more of that. Do not worry too much about the shades yet. Like I said, we are deliberately focusing only on one aspect at this point, that is to fill all these sections with appropriate color bases and not the right color. So it's not going to be the exact colors, but color bases. That's a better way of representing or explaining. If you're thinking, oh, it's not the right color base, for example, that bottle green, I do not have it in my um the bottle green of the sari that I want. I do not have with me, and I haven't built that. I don't remember if I have built that earlier in any of my painting. I'll have to check. So yeah, so I'm not going to do that right away. These are going to be some base colors, that is close to what we want, or it's the base of what we want, but not the real color. Helps us get started with the filling aspect of it. Yes. So we have done that. Now we are going to bring this slightly down so you can see a little more of the other hand that I'm working on. So this is definitely not the skin color, but it is the lighter version of that pink, or the to be skin color that we are going to do. So it's helping me fill out that space properly. And if you look at the way I'm moving the brush, there are vertical, horizontal moves, and also circular moves that I keep on uh, changing. So you see, this is also going to be a type of filling, or the canvas, preparing the canvas the way we did it in our um, first layer. So we are also doing the similar filling here. It's only difference is that we use different colors in different places, and they are already close to what we want in terms of the picture. So the hand is also done. Now can we come further down to the foot? The foot is partly covered because of the clothing that she is wearing, but still we have some part of the foot visible. So I want to do that. Yes. Fantastic. I think we managed fine with the skin coloring. Now we are ready to move to Shiva's skin color. Yes. What do we do for that? I want to use the primary blue. You can try ultramarine blue, cerulean blue, anything that you feel fit to experiment with. I'm not going to wash my brush. I already have that pink with me. Going to blend that blue along with that red, the Mars red. It turns slightly grayish blue. It's not so bluey blue, but it turns grayish blue. And this I like. And again, for those who are not having a Mars red or terracotta color tonality, you can actually mix a little bit of vermilion also to that and see what happens. Yeah, yellow ochre vermilion, whatever you mixed for Shakti or Parvati, you could very well continue using that and adding a little bit of white to see what it does. It should be slightly on the gray side and not totally bluey blue. Yeah, if it gets totally bluey blue, it's still okay. We will manage in the next layers. Slightly, if you could get it on the gray side, it will be very good to try. Let's see. Let's do this. Look at the contrast. Look at the difference. Just applying it here, and you see that. Oh my God, it looks totally different. Huh? This will not be so bright the way we are going to do, but I just would like to have that represented here. So I think I managed to do the face just the same way that we did for Shakti or Parvati. Now I'm going towards the neck. To be honest, this is also the first time that I am doing half. I have um, worked with one of my students working on the Ardhanareeshwarar painting, but it was kind of modern art. So not this kind of version. And I haven't done it. In fact, I haven't done it myself. I have I have only helped others do, but I haven't done. And remember, here we have a lot to work on because his body, and if you want to go back to the reference, so the reference that we are looking at, the main reference, shows the body topless, only the Rudraksha malas or the garland running around his body, and also the snake twisted around his neck. Otherwise, it's a bare body on the top. So you are going to do that as well. So the body has to have this color. Be mindful of that. It's going to be a lot of filling here. So I'm working on the chest area, coming down to the tummy area. And it's a convenient, that's exactly why I said it's convenient that we don't focus too much on the light and dark shading. Uh, so we focus on one thing at a time to make sure that we have the right elements put in. This is also for the benefit of those who are possibly, doing or seeing such a character for the first time. Um, and for those who are wondering, possibly, oh, it belongs to a religion. Should I do it? I'm not from the religion. I would just say one thing to that. I have had this privilege um, gifted by my parents that I can be introduced to many religions and I could follow whatever I feel like. And I'm so thankful that my parents gave me that liberty and the option to look into different religions. So they also made sure that I get education through institutions that are, um, based on various religions. So I did my schooling with institutions that are basically from Hindu origin and also with Christianity. And I also had the opportunity to learn a little bit from the college that I did was based on yeah, it was Justice Bashir Ahmed Syed's Women's College. So that was um, my introduction to or understanding a little bit of Islam as well. So um, from the point of view of objective understanding of religions, once you start appreciating religions, you everything goes into a thin line, and you only can appreciate all religions for whatever good they are bringing in. So beyond the fact that it is pointing to one religion, if you look into the picture that we are working on, this is the perfect balance of earth, the universe, when the feminine energy and the masculine energy are in balance. So we are working on an amazing concept and just feel comfortable about that. And I will, tell you some funny stories or interesting stories all along. So it makes you feel that, oh, this is a friend. This guy is a friend. I have this attitude of looking towards religions and lords and gods as friends came from my parents. Um, I am so proud that they introduced religion to me in that manner. I can tell you, when my mom used to take me to temples, she used to introduce various gods and goddesses in a way, telling stories, and in a way somehow she would give me the feel that it's another friend that we are making, and he could or she could help you in some way. So I never had a fear about any god or goddess. I had only what do you call the love or attachment to a religion or a deity. And the same happened when my father introduced me to Christianity. He never forced me into anything, so it was just a choice. So it was always a choice for me to go to a temple or to a church. If I felt like I could always join them, if not, I will not go. So they never forced, and it became a interesting hobby to develop to go to all these places and to be there with that positive energy. So from then on, it's been an interesting journey, and I still do that. um Only that I have also learned a little more on few other religions, and I find it all interesting, and I keep on learning. Tomorrow, if you come and tell me about something new, another new religion, and I might be very interested, and I want to learn. So I'm now, while talking, we finished the filling in of the body and the hands, and now we are filling in the legs. Yeah, leg. And remember, he is wearing a tiger skin, so it's only halfway here, and we will have to do the filling of it's really coming bright blue, amazing color. I'm liking it. But I think when we go move on to the layer, making some more realistic efforts, we will change the color slightly a bit, um, to show the depth and so on. So it will not be the same color. But for now, yes, I'm happy with this. Okay, so I'm gonna move a little further so that you can see the foot. See the foot. We are filling in that foot as well. One thing about the layer two that we are doing, wherever you see me adding, I'm also adding a bit of white color. So that is helping me fill the space, just the way we fill the space for in our layer one. So we have filled the space nicely, and the cloth, the linen as such, is just um, getting soaked in these colors and just taking in as much as possible. The groundwork or the layer one and two really is important for us to um, what do you call, not more than getting it right, getting it filled on the thread, every single thread of the cloth is very important. That will really help us build the strength the canvas needs for the upcoming layers, and it will also shine through very well once you have done a strong foundation. Yes. So right now I am super excited to start working on that bottle green, though I know that it's not going to be the first ever green. I'm going to go back. I'm not going to do the exact bottle green, but we will try to do a little bit of the green. That's the green. Oh, lovely. No, I cannot do that right away. So the base color is going to be this earth green, and to the earth green I'm going to add this blue that we already have. Yeah. So let me just show you. primary blue goes, and I will just show you how I'm doing it. So you see that taken a bit of earth green and the primary blue, and I'm going to just blend them both. It's coming to a bluey green, and to that I'm going to add a bit of white because I need it to be lightened, not necessarily lightened, to have that white so that it fills in. It's not translucent and it's not showing the previous color too much. I think I'm going to need a bit more on the greeny side because it's still on the bluey side, so I'm going to add a little more on the green. In case you've already got it right, or if you have had it in the other greeny side, it's good. You don't need to do anything more. For me, it is slightly in between. It's still not there. That is fine with me as long as it is it's just the second layer. It doesn't matter. For the purpose of the second layer, I think we already have what we need. So I'm going to go and work on the clothing. Yeah. So it's her saree clothing that starts here. So if you want to go back to seeing that, so there is a blouse that she's wearing. So it's not the blouse, it's just going to be the saree that ends, over the bust line. For those who aren't really aware of the clothing, the blouse isn't visible much. It's only the shoulder and the hand that you could see. The saree usually covers major part of the body. It is still on the bluey side when I apply it. Uh-oh. Yeah, but it's okay. It's just the layer 2. So I would really want it to be green. It will happen with time. Yes, we will do that. So I'm going to just go with the flow and fill this in. In case you already have another color that you're thinking of and you don't want to go with this bottle green or the green base that I'm trying to build, that's perfectly fine. I am, like I said, I am so much in. It brings a lot of good memories to me, that green. So I would love to do that. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get that green. This bluey green that we have will really help us forming the base layer. Okay, so I'm right now going to come slightly down with the camera. There is this what do you call, a belt kind of accessory that she's wearing, so that's why I'm not coming close to the navel area. We will come back to it. later. Yes. I also remember the pallu that we made, or the edge of the sari that comes down from behind. It just hangs. For those who do not know how the sari works or so, it just hangs from the shoulder behind. So it's kind of cloth hanging from behind. Yeah. But part of the same cloth that she is wearing. Yes. Few more centimeters down. I just added a little bit of that the mask red to give a slight tonality here when it comes to. I just want to differentiate this ever so slightly. Needing a little bit of refill, not too much, a little bit of refill. But I took a bit more on the greeny side, yeah. So I'm going to move the canvas up. So just see the angle that I am moving my brush. So that's the way the cloth is also moving around. Yeah. And remember, this is the part where you see more of her cloth, going beyond that central line. Yeah. The more you can fill these sections, hiding these grid lines, the better it is. But don't fight with it too much. If you're not able to hide it, it's okay. With all those layers that we are going to do somewhere down the line, all these grids are going to be gone. Yeah. I'm coming close to the foot. I'm going to push again. that's the foot. And that's where, it's the cloth is just, hiding a part of the foot. I want to show that. Cool. I think I managed to fill in that. All right. Let's bring it down again. Now, she's wearing a red colored blouse, and I want to see if I have some vermilion left over from previous session. I want to see if it still is active, working. Some of it is. So it's just vermilion, and I have not used this brush. I've moved this brush away. I have taken brush number 14 round from the small series, and I'm just taking a bit of vermilion from the previous session that I had. I don't see the need of filling it brand new with some more. So I'm okay with this. I'm going to go filling out this section with the vermilion. So it's her, you know, um, shoulder, upper shoulder area that is visible with the blouse, and also the arm. Yep. Right. And remember, there are two arms on either side. So when I did the arms of Shiva, I did two arms. And right now also we are doing two arms. Yeah. Yes. So we have made that color. And I want to add for the tiger skin and the lion and such. I want to take yellow ochre or yellow ochre light. And I don't bother about washing the brush or changing the brush or so. I think this vermilion, like I said, when it moves into the yellow ochre, it always gives you a skin color. Um, so that's good enough for me. And to come back to this area where he's got this tiger skin that he's wearing. If I fill it out, it might look like I'm doing nothing, because it's again the same yellow ochre or yellow ochre light that's getting added here. Um, maybe it's blending a little bit with the vermilion and giving another tonality, but it looks almost the same, but it's fine. Yeah, it is still fine. Um, we have the base color done. That's important for us right now. So I'm going ahead and filling that in. All right. We are going to make a stop with this. Like I said, we'll continue with the process in the next class also of filling, but we'll make a stop with this class to just gauge where we are, what we have done. Okay, so let's just summarize today's session. Today's session, we were introduced to the colors. So we started with looking at the materials from color point of view, the colors that we will use, brushes that we will use, and so on. And then we started out filling colors. We have agreed that we will not really look at shades, dark and light yet. We will focus only on filling, and we have started to fill in the colors, starting with the body colors, which was itself a challenge because we have this nice division, right in between the pink and blue, but still it looks pretty. Even though we haven't gone far off with it, it looks really pretty at this point that we have the face with and face colors, body colors done. Blue for Shiva and Shakti Parvati, getting this light pinkish tone as a as a base color for their skin colors. And then we did a little bit of the coloring on their clothing also. So we are left with a lot of work, which we will continue in the next session. um, so the next session is for us to continue with this process, wherein we'll be looking more into um, the hair color, eye color, uh, and their jewelry, accessories, and what else that they have. And then, if we manage fine, we will also move on to working with the animals that we have here, right here beneath. Yes, there are animals as well. So that's the plan for the next class. Thank you very much for attentively watching this and following through. I hope you're doing a great job with this. In case you feel, oh, I haven't done enough, I need a little more effort, do take your time to work on it. This is a challenging painting, especially, connecting half man, half woman. So it would not pan out very easily the way that we want. That is okay. We try to give our best to keep that momentum going. One red thread that I will say at this point that we are not working into the details is that it still looks like a neutral face. It's a neutral face. It can go either ways. It can look like a man or a woman. That's the approach to it. As long as it's neutral, it's okay. Yeah, we will get there. All right. Thank you very much, and enjoy your afternoon. Let's meet again in class 8. Thank you. Bye bye.